The ghost of my dead dad is telling me that my audience wants me to recap Dexter. Even though I already know this information, I'm still glad he's here to narrate what's obvious to everyone watching.
I can't kill him, he doesn't meet the code. Can't kill him.
I get why you guys want me to recap Dexter, and I'm very happy to do it. So, here we go. Here's
Grab a crayon, psycho, and scribble this down.
Dexter Morgan has a rather unusual addiction. It involves dead meat, the colour claret, and a cheese cutting wire. That's right, he's a charcuterie connoisseur. This show is absolutely not about a serial killer. There is no excessive violence, and there is no blood, even though his profession is a blood spatter analyst for the Miami PD. This video contains no blood, no violence, and not a single naughty word. Okay, YouTube, can we please just calm down with the yellow symbols?
Hey, no blood. No trabajo.
Right off the bat, we see Dexter satiating his hunger for blood, taking out this murderer of young boys, who was also a fan of these young boys in other disturbing ways. Dexter forces him to look at his victims, as he does with everyone he takes out.
No. It's horrible, isn't it? Isn't it?
Open your eyes and look at what you did!
But why does he do all this? Well, he's not too sure why. All he knows is that he's been doing this since he was a kid. His foster father, who was a cop, became aware of this habit and knew that Dexter could never stop, so he advised him to only target people who deserved it. As part of his ritual, he keeps a small sample of his victim's blood in a wooden box, which he keeps hidden within the AC unit back home. You just know that keeping hold of this evidence is going to come back to bite him one day. He gets called out to a crime scene that was called in by his foster sister Deborah, who's working undercover as a lady of intimate company. One of her co-workers was found in the drained swimming pool, chopped up and drained of all her blood.
How does he do it? How does the killer get rid of the blood?
It's hard to say. The body's in good shape. Head is over there if you want to take a look.
This is unique.
As there's no blood, Dexter has no work here. But that doesn't mean he's finished thinking about this case.
But that bloodless body. This guy may have exceeded my own abilities.
Back at the office, he keeps a clean and non-serial killer persona, bringing in donuts to keep everyone happy and charm the people that he needs to assist with his work. His charm works on most people, but not Sergeant James Dokes, who doesn't just not like Dexter, he openly hates Dexter, seeing through his casual everyman persona and detecting a hidden creepiness.
You give me the creeps, you know that, Dexter?
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Okay.
On the side of his current open cases, Dexter likes to track down killers in cold cases, where they never got the punishment they deserved. He figures why not kill two birds with one stone. He gets to kill someone, and they get served their justified punishment. He typically always breaks into their house to make sure that he's got all the evidence to support his vigilante actions. Part of trying to live a normal life is having a partner, although he finds it hard to connect with anyone, let alone be intimate with anyone with any genuine feeling behind it. His girlfriend's name is Rita, someone who escaped an extremely abusive relationship and now struggles with intimacy, which suits Dexter, as even though he has the desires, he doesn't really need it in his life. He goes on a date with Rita to a place that plays Latin music while they smash crabs. If I ever go to Miami and they really do this kind of thing, I'm gonna be all over it. He sees sirens in the distance and can't help but go check out what's happening. Detective Angel Batista, a ladies' man party animal, is annoyed to be working on a Friday night. But for Dexter, this is heaven. Ready to ignore his girlfriend for a few hours to enjoy the rush of seeing a neatly dissected and bloodless corpse. In this example, adding to the intrigue, the person who did this kept the head.
La Bestia left her tits and took her f***ing head. And God only knows what he's doing with it.
He's certainly raising the bar. Damn. This guy is good.
Deborah's desperate to solve this case, as it could lead her to being promoted out of vice and working in homicide. But she lacks confidence in herself and relies on Dexter to come up with theories. In this case, he suggests that the killer could be using a refrigerated truck while carrying out the deed. But as Deborah is the one to bring this theory to the table, no one takes it seriously.
That's very interesting. Very creative. Let's keep looking for the witness, okay? We know that he or she...
But then, as Dexter is out on a nighttime drive, he spots a sus-looking refrigerated truck. When the truck driver detects that he's being followed, he does a U-turn and chucks the woman's missing head right at Dexter's car. Lieutenant LaGuerta finds it curious that Dexter was out this late, following an ice truck that supports his sister's theory, but ultimately she thinks nothing more of it, because she kinda has a crush on Dexter.
You know, you should call me Maria. I'll tell you who's good, you are.
When Dexter gets home, he finds that the serial killer has left a gift for him. A Barbie head stuck to the outside of the fridge, and Barbie doll body parts inside the fridge.
I think this is a friendly message, kind of like, hey, wanna play? And yes, I wanna play. I really, really do.
An outstandingly good first episode. You'd have to be a real freak not to hit next episode.
I think he's trying to impress me, and it's working.
After attending court to give a testimony on his blood work, he sits in as an audience member on a different trial. The case of this young drunk driver killing a teenager. But his tears are nothing more than crocodile tears, because he's definitely guilty. Dexter knows this, as he's very familiar with faking emotions. He collects his DNA from a glass, and finds out that he's moved through several states, making headlines wherever he goes with DUI incidents. The fact that he's not already been put away is a miracle, so Dexter puts him away for good.
Matt Chambers, welcome to your last change of address. You'll like it here. You and your neighbors have so much in common.
Dexter gets called out to a guy who's been chucked off the highway. Nothing too crazy, just a regular day in Miami. But what's unusual is there's a chunk of someone else's skin in his mouth. Turns out this guy is a fellow cop, and Sergeant Dokes insists on delivering the bad news to his spouse. But then we get this shocking moment.
Call it in.
3877 to dispatch. Just W up my 20, need EMT.
While the wife is recovering in hospital, Dexter and Batista find some DNA belonging to a known criminal called Norberto Cervantes, a name that got me smiling thinking about Cervantes from Soul Calibur.
Win. Fear my power.
He's so cool. LaGuerta considers cutting him a deal to rat on his boss rather than receiving the full list of charges. The idea of this makes Stokes even angrier than usual.
You talking about throwing him a deal? And then what, he walks?
Well, if he does, we pick him up on 100 other charges.
Come on, Lieutenant. We already got a win.
It's not about your win. It's about the big picture.
LaGuerta eventually figures out that Dokes was sleeping with the cop's wife, and that's why he's all bent out of shape about the situation. And to make matters worse, news just came in that she snuffed it.
What are you thinking?
Businesses that are yours.
My cops, my precinct, my business.
For being a cop killer, Cervantes gets shanked by a prison guard. His name was Voldo. Deborah ends up finding the ice truck, confirming this vehicle to be the way that the killer's transporting his victims, earning him the nickname the Ice Truck Killer. Inside sits a single block of ice, containing the severed fingertips from the corpse that was found earlier, with the interesting detail that each fingernail is painted a different colour. This find gets Deborah her promotion to work in homicide, a promotion that LaGuerta was reluctant to give.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I promoted you, didn't I? Now find me this ice truck, son of a bitch.
Shit, you don't look a day over 12.
Dexter's playing family with Rita and her kids, Cody and Asta. All seems sunshine and rainbows, until a thunderstorm in the form of a drug dealer comes along and says that Rita's ex-husband owes him money. She begs for Dexter to not get involved, insisting that the drug dealer takes her car as payment. She's trying to remain strong, but Dexter can hear her crying in the bathroom.
The guy clearly had no idea who he was dealing with. I'll file a report at work. We'll get your car back.
No.
She persists that she doesn't want Dexter involved. She wants to handle the situation herself and try to move on from her past. The ice truck killer makes his next move, leaving a woman's head neatly displayed atop of her other body parts, which have all been wrapped up like presents. Deborah recognises this woman from her time working in Vice. Her name was Cherry. She requests to go work back in Vice temporarily to go digging for clues. LaGuerta is against this because she doesn't like Deborah or any of her ideas. And it's here that we see an example of Dokes being a good cop.
No, I want you to work with Dokes.
Maria, she has contacts.
We have a few flashbacks for this episode. The first shows how Dexter's foster dad tried to steer his cravings for killing towards hunting animals instead, teaching him the values in hunting for food. The next flashback is such a confusing mix of hilarious and sad. Their dad is in critical condition, giving some words of guidance while he still can. But it's so hard to take this scene seriously, with Dexter wearing this stupid ass wig. Words can't express how much I love it when movies and TV shows try to make someone look younger by giving them a goofy wig or dressing them like a teenager. We see Dexter finding his first human who fits the bill as a person who needs to be taken out. She's the nurse looking after Dexter's dad, and she has this crazed look in her eye as they realise that the drugs that she's been giving him are the very thing killing him. Back to real time, we have the story of some knife-crazed kid buying his next weapon to do something bad.
Easy, kid.
What are you doing, boy?
I didn't see him.
You all right, mister?
Yeah, I'm fine. Honest mistake.
Dexter confronts him, and it turns out this kid only stabbed a man because he was trying to SA him. So really, he was doing Dexter's job in taking out a scumbag. The police find a videotape in the security guard's apartment, making him the lead suspect as being the ice truck killer. As we can see on the video, he's the one placing the body parts in the hockey goal. The Guetta is convinced they got their guy, but not everyone in the room is convinced.
Tucci, what kind of car does he drive? The last known victim was seen getting in a station wagon.
I don't recall asking for any questions, Miss Morgan. Thank you. And from this moment on...
Batista makes a solid observation that liquid nitrogen was used to freeze the bodies, and only an educated man of science would know how to handle that stuff safely. This security guard didn't even pass high school chemistry. Also, his body language on the tape suggests that he's being given instructions.
The killer's framing Tucci.
It looks that way.
Oh, LaGuardia's gonna lose her sheep shit. When she finds out, she's gonna have to cancel her press conference.
And you know how LaGuardia loves her press conferences.
Deborah breaks the chain of command by giving this information directly to the captain, and he threatens to reassign her back to Vice if she can't respect LaGuardia's position.
Did you know that one of your officers has information that casts some doubt on this manhunt of yours?
Who, Morgan?
Despite the new information, LaGuardia goes ahead with the press conference, naming the security guard as the suspect. Earlier in the day, Dokes made himself known as being out for vengeance against Carlos Guerrero and his men for what they did to the cop and his wife. The wife's brother, who is also a cop, tells Dokes that he knows what he did, and he's going to make it look like Dokes organised an attack on Guerrero's guy.
What plan?
You my sister. You the cop's wife. Now, you're just buddy. Woo.
I love Halloween, the one time of year when everyone wears a mask, not just me.
There's a hand on a sun lounger in front of these very distinct looking trees. So distinct that Dexter remembers seeing these trees on a childhood photo. The ice truck killer is toying with him once again. And again with a severed foot where he used to play football as a kid. Dad gives him a lesson about bullying after he wouldn't give his friend's t-shirt back. Here you go, kid. Take this Dexter-inspired t-shirt from hausenbergfilms.myspreadshop.net. And if you lose this one, there's a link in the description.
Look at that. Stunning.
It's Halloween, and the only thing giving Dexter the heebie-jeebies is a little yapping dog next door. And the owner is equally as frustrating, saying it's her ex's dog, and she doesn't care to let it inside.
Walter's an outside dog.
Hey, you put Walter inside, Walter's an inside dog.
He doesn't like being inside.
For giving Dexter and Rita sass, Rita takes the dog and gives it to a family that she works with, who she knows will give it a loving home. All day, Batista's been hyping up his 10-year wedding anniversary, and as it's celebrated with diamonds, he got her a diamond-encrusted four-leaf clover.
You sure it's not a butterfly?
Does kind of look like a bug.
Is this a diamond-encrusted four-leaf clover? When he gets to his wife's house, it turns out they're on a break because he cheated, and he's trying desperately to stay in her life, both for her and their daughter.
It's been 3 months, baby. How much time do you need?
Don't turn this around on me, Angel. Not after what you did.
Guerrero's men kidnapped Dokes, but the brother of the dead cop was following Dokes, saying that him getting kidnapped, beaten, and used as bait is his way of making it right for boning the wife. Dexter checks one more place in his photo collection to hopefully get closer to the ice truck killer, but instead he finds the security guard still alive. He sends in the anonymous tip to Deborah so that she gets credit for the rescue.
You saved a man's life tonight.
I'm just the one who got the call, sir.
Yeah, but you followed it up. I'm taking Tucci over to county.
Alive?
Alive.
Incredible. They're even better matched than I thought. A true partnership.
Rita's work friend Elena is upset because her boyfriend Ernesto is missing, and she believes that he was taken by a man named Coyote because he owes him money for smuggling him into the country. Dexter goes to Coyote's salvage yard, pretending to be looking for a car part. He's politely told to go away, but he's collected enough clues from this short conversation to know this guy is a bad guy. Confirmed by his second visit later that night, finding the place where the people he traffics are being kept in squalor. Unfortunately, it's too late for Ernesto. He's swimming with the fishes. The security guard, Tony Tucci, is recovering in hospital, assisted by the friendly Dr. Cooper, who is playfully flirting with Deborah.
Yo, pretty boy, you're stealing my thunder, and I got a hottie waiting on me, so...
I don't know. I just might have to fight you for this one.
This will become important later. Tony's having trouble recalling what happened to him, saying he never got a good look at his captor. They try a blinding technique to allow his mind to rest and remember things more clearly. But the only real detail that comes to him is that his captor ate a lot of throat lozenges, and also there were lots of rats running around. Forensic specialist Masuka finds a throat lozenge wrapper inside of a rat's nest at the scene. I haven't talked about Masuka yet. He's a really funny character, but also kinda creepy. Every other word that comes out of his mouth is usually about sex.
You guys check out the new hottie McGodass and Dispatch yet? How great would it be to pull a Bronco on her? Yeah?
You grab her by the hips and you yell another woman's name and bam! You're riding her like a Bronco because she's trying to buck you off.
Later that night, Dexter returns to the salvage yard and takes out Coyote. But it turns out his wife is also involved in the trafficking, so she gets the Dexter treatment too. As they beg for their lives, they reveal the secret to their loving relationship, which helps Dexter in trying to understand how to save his relationship with Rita.
Can you make it work? How?
We want the same life.
We want the same thing.
Same life.
Oh, by the way, they've started doing things in the bedroom, but no home run yet.
Welcome back to my humble abode. Feel free to take a look around.
It had to be him. He's watching me.
Asta's birthday is coming up, and I find myself agreeing with what Dexter says here.
I don't get birthdays. The party, the song, celebrating another year just being alive feels forced.
I like other people's birthdays, but when it comes to mine, I don't really mind not celebrating it. Is that sad or serial killer vibes? I'll let you decide. But you better decide right. On to more pressing matters. Dexter gets called in to his own crime scene, and he was sure that he left no evidence.
I shouldn't have killed them both. I didn't have enough time. A footprint, a microscopic drop of blood. What did I leave behind?
It seems that the ice truck killer collected the bodies back from the bottom of the sea. Dexter disposes of all his victims in the exact same spot out at sea. Dexter now has the complicated task of doing his forensics work without revealing any evidence that points back to him. Making matters worse, it turns out there was a kid locked inside a car with a perfect view of what Dexter did.
He saw me.
Masuka ordered a tox screen and found a type of animal tranquilizer that only people like Dexter have access to. The list of people who ordered it will be emailed to Masuka very soon, so Dexter hacks into his computer to scrub his name from the email, going by the alias Patrick Bateman. Why would you choose your alias to be such a well-known fictional serial killer? You might as well have gone by the name Jack the Ripper. Oh wait, he wasn't fictional, was he? I'm so stupid. Yeah, it's too late to rewrite that joke. Asta's party is almost ruined when her dad calls and says that he's been released from prison early and wants to make an appearance. Cody, being a bit younger, still sees his dad as a good person, being too young to really understand what he's done. Rita eventually plucks up the courage to refuse his suggestion of coming to the party and telling him how it really is.
I checked and the restraining order is still in effect, so if you step 1 foot on this property, the first call I'm going to make is to the police. The second call is to your parole officer.
The young boy that was found in the car takes a real shine to Maria de Guerta, which gets her all broody, wondering if she can adopt him. But then his uncle comes along to claim him, slightly breaking her heart.
That's great. He should be with family.
Can I take him home? We're good.
Mm-hmm.
the kid was able to memorise who saved him for a police sketch, and the episode builds it up like it's going to be revealed that it's Dexter. But nah, it's Jesus. Jesus is the one that saved him. Isn't that sweet? Much sweeter than my depiction of Jesus, who looks like an alien potato with a dead rat draped over his head.
Dexter Morgan. I can't think of anything clever to say.
Dexter is making a realisation that the kid he let go before, Jeremy, has taken another life. At the station, they make a realisation that one of the people who came forward as a witness is actually a likely candidate as the ice truck killer. Their suspicions heighten when the guy makes a run for it when they knock on his trailer.
Hey, Angel, I got him!
Inside the trailer, all the signs of a deranged killer are there. Weird taxidermy animals, a hidden cupboard, a laptop containing police confidential files. Oh, and also, there's a female skeleton buried right outside.
Any idea how long the body's been down there?
Based on decomposition, she's been tits up for 2, maybe 3 years. We'll know more after the autopsy.
Rita's in a panic because her ex-husband Paul picked up the kids without her permission, and since then she hasn't heard from them. But he brings them back home later, claiming that he left her a message about it. Oh look, Jacob's back.
Paul Bennett, father on parole.
Dexter Morgan. I can't think of anything clever to say.
Rita explains that Paul refused to sign the divorce papers, so there's still some work to be done in order to get him completely out of her life. Paul's making every effort to look like a good dad, to a level that seems manipulative, making the kids believe that Mummy's the bad guy for trying to push him out the house, which technically he owns.
You can't do this anymore, Paul.
What? What? Help raise my kids? Yes, I can. That's my job.
When he faces Dexter, he realises that he's not susceptible to his bullying.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you give those presents to my little buckets of sunshine? Tell Rita she can reach me at the motor court.
Later that evening, Rita gives him the ultimatum: sign the divorce papers, or never see your kids again. Claiming that he's a changed man, he agrees to play ball. They track down the suspect, Neil Perry, to a low-budget motel, and right before he's about to do something bad to this poor lady, they arrest him. To make himself look even creepier, he starts singing a hymn called Now the Day Is Over.
Birds and beasts and flowers soon will be asleep.
At the station, he comes across very cocky, and he straight up confesses to being the ice truck killer. Dexter senses there's something disingenuous about him, so when the opportunity arises, Dexter sits with him as a way to formally meet the man who broke into his house and left all those Barbie doll pieces. But then it turns out this guy is not the real deal.
Hi. Who are you?
It wasn't an entirely successful day though, as he wasn't able to capture Jeremy. The law got to him first, and then he took himself out in the jail cell, feeling there was no way to escape his feelings of emptiness. A really depressing end for a kid who got dealt a really crap hand in life. Deborah believes that she's hit the jackpot, as Dr. Cooper asks her out on a date, and so they do some kissing.
Oh, God. Oh, that feels so amazing to say out loud.
Dexter's working a strange case, where a number of high-profile women all took their own lives, around the same time as each other. Dexter figures out they all went to the same therapist, so Dexter goes there too, pretending to be a new patient, so he can get to know this therapist. But as it turns out, Dexter needs therapy. Surprising, I know.
Have you ever been close to anybody? My foster father. He's the only one who ever really knew me.
The therapist helps him to realise that there was a trauma in his past that makes him feel completely out of control. This breakthrough finally allowing him to accept Rita's advances in the bedroom, who is now ready to go all the way.
You want there to be a next time?
And the time after that.
After he figures out that his therapist encouraged these women to do what they did to themselves, he becomes Dexter's next person to receive his version of justice. Before taking him out, he decides to confess to him who he really is, and feels a great sense of relief, finally saying it out loud.
I'm a serial killer.
Oh, God. I'm not joking. I kill people. Whew. There it is again.
The police realise they got the wrong guy in custody when he gets squeamish at the sight of a severed head. An extreme measure, but it got him to admit that he's a coward who hacked into the police database and wanted to frame himself as a serial killer so he could get the attention he desperately needs.
Alright, I lied, okay.
As the episode ends, we see that it's Dr. Cooper who's the ice truck killer, and he responds to an ad that Dexter put out there, looking for Barbie's Ken.
Be patient. One day we'll share a cold one.
You saying I'm a liar?
No, I'm saying that maybe you're not remembering right.
Dokes and Batista are out on patrol, and Dokes sees a man carrying a gun, so he chases after him. We hear 2 gunshots, where Dokes walks away and the suspect is dead on the ground. When the team arrives, Dokes' story as to how and why he shot him doesn't really add up.
If you shot him from right there, the blood spatter would go in that direction, but look at the pattern.
You questioning me? Because I got a lot of questions
Whoa,
for
whoa,
you.
whoa, whoa, the man's just doing what he's supposed to do.
The man is a f***ing creep job.
James?
Batista's now in an awkward position because he was the only one on scene and could therefore verify who shot first. If Dokes shot first, it could be considered an unlawful killing. Batista believes that he heard Dokes' gun first, but he knows that revealing this would ruin both of their careers. No one likes working with a rat. Maria finds out that the guy Dokes shot used to be a general in the Haitian army, and Dokes was in the special forces, and he saw the Haitian army commit some horrendous crimes against innocent people. This provides the investigators a motive as to why he would want to kill him. Maria says that she'll keep this information quiet while they wait out the storm. Batista is pissed that he ratted out his colleague only for the case to be dropped, and now the other officers resent him. But then, out of respect, Dokes sticks up for him.
Squeak, squeak.
Officer Benson. You just bumped into your superior. I believe you owe Detective Batista an apology.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Dexter receives news that his bio father has died, which surprises him because he believed he already was dead. Foster father Harry covered this up to protect Dexter from knowing the real reason why he was put into care. Dexter has no memories of his real father until the coroner shows him the body and he recognises the cobweb tattoo. At his bio dad's house, he's sorting through his stuff when suddenly Dr. Cooper knocks at the door.
Surprise!
I waited a long time to meet you.
The whole night, he's being kind of personal with Dexter, even though he shouldn't know him that well yet. But as we know, he does know Dexter very well. The nosy neighbour lady says that she remembers seeing someone that she didn't recognise visiting his dad the day before he was found dead. And yeah, you guessed it, the person she didn't recognise was Dr. Cooper. But it's too late. Everyone is leaving in too much of a hurry to notice her calling out. At Rita's house, Paul turns up drunk and tries to assault her, but she has a baseball bat waiting for him.
Something finally got to you. I guess you're human after all.
Cut him some slack, alright?
A jar of blood is sent to the police station, and Dexter sees there's a hotel key sloshing around inside. They rush to the room, but weren't quite prepared for this amount of blood.
Metro Dispatch, this is 3 Henry 88 out at the Marina View Hotel. I need uniform backup, forensics. Just send everybody out.
Dexter strolls in, expecting it to be just another Monday. Ho hum, it can't be that much blood. Oh my god. Even in black and white, this looks horrific, and it causes Dexter's childhood trauma to resurface. I love Dokes' unsympathetic response to Dexter's panic attack.
No, I'm okay. I just need a little air.
Something finally got to you. I guess you're human after all.
Cut him some slack, alright?
We don't yet have the full picture of what happened to Dexter, but we'll be finding out soon enough. When Deborah tells ITK about what happened, he becomes more concerned with how Dexter is doing than he is with Jennifer Carpenter riding his lap. Really sticking to the quote-unquote bros before hoes rule. You're a stronger man than I, Mr. ITK. He goes to Dexter's place with the gift of beer and porterhouse steaks. Damn, man. If it wasn't for the murdering several women stuff, this guy would be a top-tier friend. They bond over their shared experience of losing a parent when they were very young, and all the while, Dexter is none the wiser as to who this guy really is.
It's funny how life brings people together, huh?
While out clubbing, Batista bombs on his attempt to score with a lady, distracted by a different lady's fingernails on her fake hand, all being painted a different colour, just like the fingernails that were inside the ice block. She's a lady of the night, and says that one of her clients was a real freak who was obsessed with amputees. Knowing that Deborah's boyfriend works with prosthetics, he pays him a visit, looking for advice on the type of person who would be into that kind of stuff. He also asks Masuka, because he's basically a pro-level gooner, so he would definitely know all about this.
It's called acrotomophilia. But don't let him hear you call it that. Sounds like a disease.
I knew you were the man to ask.
Not really. I prefer a girl with a kung fu grip.
ITK plays it chill at first, knowing that right now he's not a suspect. But then again, Batista is sniffing around the right tree, so ITK stabs him in the parking lot.
I need an ambulance at 1228 Calendar Street. The guy's been stabbed. Really? Just stay with us.
Paul's still on the scene, causing grief, and it's got to the point where he's like a cockroach hanging around the kitchen, calling for Dexter to smack it with a frying pan. He takes Paul to a motel and sticks him full of drugs, as getting high is a breach of his parole conditions, landing him back in jail. To end the episode, Dexter confronts his fears, visiting the Red Room again and having more visions to collect his memories, seeing his mother covered in blood while she's screaming in fear. She then tells Dexter to shield his eyes as she's about to be ripped in two by a chainsaw.
Mommy loves you, Dexter.
What is in that report that Harry didn't want me to see?
Uh-oh, Mr. ITK has arranged a second session with Handy Hannah, and so that's the end of her. As it's Christmas time, ITK has organised his next presentation in a festive way, and as an extra present, he's left a videotape underneath the torso. But he's feeling rather grinchy this year because some naughty girl named LaGuerta publicly named the wrong guy as the serial killer, taking his credit away.
You arrested the wrong man, made the world think I'm a rank amateur, and I'm very, very angry.
Everyone's worried about Batista's condition, but as soon as he's cleared from critical condition, Dexter immediately leaves, making Doak suspicious of him once again.
I have someplace I have to be. But you just found out that somebody who's supposed to be your friend is going to live. Does that make you feel anything? Anything at all?
Take your hand off me.
Dexter requests for the file supervisor, Camilla, to get the files from when Harry rescued Dexter. Camilla is a sweet and kind lady, but she's reluctant to give him these files. He does his own digging before returning to Camilla, angry at her reluctance to help.
What is in that report that Harry didn't want me to see? Why was there no mention in any of the newspapers about a 3-year-old boy at the crime scene?
But Camilla says that she's keeping a promise for his father, that the files will be forever locked away, with no possibility of anyone seeing them again. She's also doing this because she likes Dexter, and doesn't want him being hurt by the truth. Analysing the videotape further, they figure out that this was filmed in someone's house, so they're making good progress on the case. But this isn't enough progress to keep the captain happy, so he demotes LaGuerta and replaces her with a woman named Esme Pascal. LaGuerta takes this news pretty well.
This isn't over, Tom! You son of a bitch!
Rita is tired of Paul pretending that he's such a great guy to the kids, so to make him learn that he needs to be honest about who he is and what he's done, she brings the kids to visit him in prison, so he can no longer hide it. This will also prove to him that the kids still have love for him, regardless of his situation, and that should give him the motivation he needs to stick to a good path forward. Rita is such a good and kind-hearted person, you can't help but feel proud of how strong she's been, putting up with everything that's been thrown at her so far. And not to spoil anything, but the worst is yet to come. Batista mentions that he gave his attacker a fat lip, making Dexter recall seeing ITK with a fat lip, and so he starts connecting the dots. Oh no, she's getting on a boat with him as we speak, and she spots the very same lozenge wrapper from the ITK crime scene. He reveals the shocking truth to her before choking her out.
Oh God, wait!
The tricky part was getting you on the boat. The other woman I could just pay.
Dexter alerts everyone to the danger she's in, and we'll find out what happens to her next episode.
I don't know who I am.
Of course you don't. You've been away from your family since you were 3.
Deborah is an absolute mess, having to emotionally process that the person she was falling for is the very same person she was hunting.
I never wanted to hurt you.
I know. I know.
Just make it easier for you because I can keep going.
Oh God, Jesus.
because ITK enjoys the chase, he leaves Dexter some clues on how to find him, such as the song Born Free playing on Dexter's laptop, and a newspaper article showing the shipping container where Dexter's mum got turned into a bloody puddle. The rest of the police are on to Dr. Cooper now, so it's a race as to who will rescue Deborah first. Dokes is angry, as usual, because he saw Dexter ordering a blood test that led him to finding out about Dr. Cooper before they did, and he didn't say anything.
I couldn't destroy Deb's love life on a hunch. I had to get the facts.
Well, here are the facts. If he kills her, it's your fault. Now, what else do you know?
That's it.
He's lying.
Oh, give him a break, James. It's his sister, right?
Dexter sneaks into the shipping yard, and the memories come flooding back from the day he was found. He opens up the container, hoping for answers, but it's just bananas, and also a famous meme.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That's my one F word used up for this video. Yeah, so Dokes knew he was hiding something, and he's not taking any of Dexter's BS when he won't tell Dokes how his investigation led him here.
I ordered some furniture from Thailand. I was waiting for it to be delivered.
What the hell's going on over here? Security, I need to get somebody down here right now.
Miami Metro PD.
You're connected to this. I don't know how, but I'm gonna find out, and some of what I find is gonna stick to your ass.
While searching ITK's apartment, another clue is found with this doll, with a t-shirt that says Home Sweet Home. This leads him back to his childhood home, and the sight of this place brings back another memory that he wasn't an only child. His long-forgotten brother is Dr. Cooper. They got separated in the foster program.
I have a brother.
A real brother. None of this foster bullshit. We're blood brothers. Watching Mom die? It's amazing that we survived that, isn't it?
Dexter plays it smart and keeps him calm while they discuss how much they have in common, until he shows him the place where Deborah's being kept. He plays along with Dr. Cooper's game, pretending that he believes that killing Deborah will free him of being tied to Harry's code of only killing people who deserve it, and instead simply kill him because that's what his urges tell him to do. And while there is some truth to this, he really just wanted to create an opportunity to stop Dr. Cooper while his guard was down. Unfortunately, he gets away in the nick of time. Dokes calls for Dexter to be suspended for going alone rather than calling for backup, but Deborah isn't having it.
Are you questioning Dexter? Back the off my brother! He just saved my life! He's a hero!
Paul and also his sponsor try their best to convince Rita that he was framed by Dexter, and if she looks for his missing shoe that came off while Dexter was carrying him, it will prove his innocence. And there he is. Deborah's staying at Dexter's place to recover, and Dexter assures her that he'll keep a watch on her. But he's not the only one watching. ITK sneaks back in to finish the job, but this scenario was all a clever trick.
I stopped by your prosthetics lab after I left Deb at the hospital. You work so good. You even fooled yourself.
This will be Dexter's most conflicting kill. ITK is the only blood family Dexter has, but he threatened to harm Deborah, and even though she's not related by blood, she's still family. In the end, all seems well, but Dokes hasn't given up, trying to expose Dexter for who he really is.
Dokes always sensed I was hiding something. Now he knows. My devil danced with his demon and the fiddler's tune is far from over.
That was a fantastic first season, and we've got many more amazing moments to come, as well as some less amazing moments, and I hope you stick around to find out. And maybe if you'd like to find out 24 hours sooner, you can join all these lovely people who pay just a few quid a month and get a shout out for it too. Or you could spend that same money on a delicious cheeseburger that's going to shorten your lifespan and make you less attractive for just a few moments of blissful satisfaction. Yeah, you know the right choice to make. Do it. Do it now. Tonight's the night.